Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Stacey York and this is my YouTube channel, and today I'm talking to you guys about macro tracking. I'm going to be meal prepping with you. I'm going to be telling you guys why I'm starting macro tracking again, and I'm going to talk about ways to make macro tracking easier and all of those things. But before I dive into all that, I just want to let you guys know that this is not the clip that I originally wanted to be in this video. I filmed a full, it was probably a 10-minute clip of me walking you guys through what I had picked up at the grocery store on Sunday and talking about macro tracking and all of those things. And that clip got corrupted. If I look different in the next clip or if something doesn't make sense, it's because I don't remember what I said in the clip that I filmed that is now just gone forever. Also, just one other thing, I am going to put a trigger warning right here that I will be talking about eating disorders, I will be talking about calorie counting, and all of those sorts of things. So if that is not the kind of video that you want to watch today and that's not good for you, I would recommend that you skip to one of my other videos or go find something else on the internet to entertain you with. I know what it feels like to have those things be triggering, so don't feel like you have to watch this video, please skip. All of that being said, I am starting to macro track again. If you don't know what macro tracking is, it is the tracking of your fats, proteins, and carbs along with your calories. It's not a diet, it's not just calorie counting, it is a lot more than that, and I personally feel that it can be a very healthy thing to do, but it also does have the potential to be a very unhealthy thing to do. So a little background on me. Firstly, I am/was a certified personal trainer. I do have my personal training certificate, but I believe it has expired at this point because I haven't done anything with it in the past year. But that being said, I do have some amount of training in nutrition, but I am not a certified nutritionist. I don't have any certifications in nutrition. I am just a girl that is telling you what I do and what works for me, and just informing you of those things from a semi-educated perspective of personal training, but not nutrition. More background on me. I struggled a lot with disordered eating throughout high school and college, and it has taken me a lot of work to get to the place that I am where I feel really comfortable in my body. I've put on about 15 pounds of weight in the past, I don't know, year or two. And at first that was an extremely hard thing for me. I used to have this weight in my mind that was if I got above that weight, that meant that I was failing and that I needed to lose weight. And I since have let go of that completely, and I am 7 to 10 pounds more than that weight now, and I have just completely accepted that and I love the way my body looks. I love the way I feel in my body. I love the way I feel in the gym. Weightlifting has had a huge part in that, but also just having complete food freedom to eat what I want to eat, not look at any foods as bad or good. I feel good. And all that being said, I did used to track my macros, not for an extremely long period of time. I would say back a year and a half ago, I was tracking my macros for maybe 2 months or something like that. And I really felt like I learned a lot from it. But again, at that time, I don't think I was in a place where I could do it in a healthful or objective way. So I now feel I am in that place, which is okay, why are you doing this? Why do you need to do this if you feel comfortable and confident in your body? While I do feel amazing in my body and I love the way I look right now, I've put on a lot of muscle over the past year, and I want to see it more. That's honestly all there is to it. So yes, I am tracking my macros again, as a means to build more muscle and be able to see it, which is kind of a physique thing. But I also just feel I could be a healthier, I could be a stronger version of myself, and that is what I'm going for. So right now I am tracking my macros. I'm not attempting to go into a calorie deficit right now. I am strictly tracking my macros to get a good gauge of where my maintenance calories are. So your maintenance okay, that just cut me off because my camera card got full. But what was I saying? I was saying that I am not going into a calorie deficit right now. I am just trying to find my maintenance calories, and maintenance calories are essentially where you're not gaining weight and you're not losing weight. You're just staying at a normal maintenance. That's the calories you need to consume that equal your like metabolic rate and the amount of calories that you're burning throughout the day and all of those things. You're not gaining weight, you're not losing weight. So that's where I want to be right now. I just want to stay at maintenance. I feel like I've just kind of done like a little bit of like a bulk where I have like I've gained weight, which means I have been eating more than my body is expending, which I'm fine with. A lot of that has gone to muscle, but right now I want to get that maintenance, and then after tracking for a little while, seeing how I'm feeling at maintenance, making sure that I'm getting lots of protein in, which will help me build more muscle. I will then potentially go into a cut from there. I may go into a little bit of a calorie surplus, so I may start eating a little bit more calories, which would then put on a little bit more weight, hopefully a lot of muscle. I may do that before I go into a calorie cut. It just kind of depends on what I'm feeling like and how my body is like reacting to those, to eating at maintenance, and then from there, figuring out what I'm gonna do. I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever, but that's kind of where I'm at with all this. That is why I'm going into tracking my macros again. There's a man running outside and it's like snowing right now. Kudos to him. Anyway, again, I don't even remember what I said in the rest of this video, so hopefully that was helpful. Now we're gonna go into me meal prepping and giving you guys some tips on macro tracking and all of that kind of thing. I will be taking you along on the journey of me macro tracking again, so if that's something you're interested in, make sure that you're subscribed, and if it's not something you're interested in, I'll keep talking about literally everything else that I talk about on here, so make sure you stick around for that. And with that, I'll cut to the rest of this video, and hopefully there's no more technical difficulties and you guys actually get to see this video, because right now I don't have the highest hopes for it currently. But anyways, I'm leaving. Goodbye. Okay, so everything is put away now, so I wanted to just quickly go over kind of what my plan is for my meals. So for breakfast, like I mentioned, I'm going to be having this non-fat Greek yogurt along with some fruit, and then I always put some protein powder in with that as well. So this is just the Ghost Nutter Butter flavor, so it's pretty good. I've never really found a protein powder that I totally love, but it works. And then I'm also gonna put some nuts as well as some flax seeds and chia seeds along with that. I really try to put a lot of fruit in there just so I can have some good healthy carbs. And then for my lunches, like I mentioned, I have this 90-second cauliflower packets. I have 2 of those to split between my 5 meals, along with my ground turkey. And then with that, I will be putting my broccoli stir fry mix. And then I also put just some fresh arugula and spinach on top of that. I have the full one in the fridge that we bought today. And I have all of those things. And then for my snacks, I have significantly spicy hummus and then some sugar snap peas, as well as some leftover mini peppers that I will be snacking on for that. And I do measure out like a full, like this is how much I'm going to be eating. That way it's really easy for me to put all into my app. And then as far as what app I'm using, I have previously used this Food Noms app, that little fork looking guy right there. So they did actually just make some updates to this, but this is what it looks like here. It's really, really simple. And the thing specifically that I like about it is I don't just have carbs, fats, and proteins. I can also add fiber in there, which is important just because I want to make sure that I'm getting myself as full as possible and eating healthfully. And then you can also go in and you can add several different other options, like we have sodium, cholesterol, saturated fat, added sugars, calcium, iron, magnesium. So if there's anything specific that you know that maybe you're deficient in, or you want to make sure that you're really hitting those targets, you can add all of those things, which I just think is amazing. But I'm just going to be tracking my 3 macros, which are carbs, fats, and proteins, and then also fiber as well. And then I also have a calorie goal that I'm not going to share with you like where I'm going. And also again, this week, I'm kind of figuring out what my calorie goal is going to be, because I am strictly tracking what I normally eat. I am making like some changes like this cauliflower mix this week just because that is what I plan on eating when I actually go into my cut. And I honestly just wanted to try this to make sure it was good before, you know, eating it for weeks or whatever. So that is my plan as far as what I am prepping. So I'm gonna go ahead and start on my chicken, which I just cook on a stovetop. Okay, so I'm starting with my breakfast right now, and the serving size for this is 170 grams, and there's 5 servings per container, so I have 5 meals that I need to make, so I'm just gonna go ahead and stick with the serving size, which is 170, so all I have to do is get my mason jar where I'm putting all of these, turn my scale on, and then tare that to 0, and then stick 170 grams of this in there, and then add everything else I have to do. I'm gonna go ahead and weigh out the strawberries in this bag, which is 230, so I just have to take the 230 and divide that by the 5 meals that I have to do, and then I'll separate that out into my 5 mason jars. Add my protein powder, and then anything else I want to add on top as well. Okay, so I've added my cauliflower rice and vegetables into my lunch prep bowls, and I have the chicken done, but I'm gonna go ahead and put all of the chicken into this container. I have the unprepared chicken weight divided by 5 in my app right now, but it does weigh different depending on like your preparation style. So I just cooked mine on the stove and then drained out like the liquid. Otherwise it gets really, really liquidy. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in a bowl and then just divide that way into 5. It'll still be, I'm still leaving the unprepared weight in my app because I just know that my total amount is divided by 5 for each meal. So hopefully that makes sense. Basically, you either have to weigh it prepared or unprepared, and since I'm just doing it prepared and then weighing it out separately. I'm like explaining this like literally so bad right now, but hopefully it makes sense. Essentially, I'm taking my total chicken and just dividing it into 5 different meals. And that's how I'm getting the macros for it. Okay, so I have everything in here, chicken, vegetables, and the rice cauliflower. And the last thing I'm adding is this spinach and baby arugula mix. I don't actually weigh this out just because there's so like minimal calories in this, and like no one ever put on a bunch of body fat by eating spinach, I don't think. So I'm just gonna throw all of that on, split it up. I don't know if I'll be able to fit all of it in there, but I'll stuff as much as I can. And then my lunches will be done. Have it. This is all of my meal preps for my breakfast, lunches, and snacks for the week. I have all of it in my app currently, which did take a little while just because I was kind of starting fresh, so I did have to add some of these ingredients into the app, but now that they're in there, they will be saved, which will make my life a lot easier when I go next week and have to prep some of these same items. I do switch out kind of like the vegetables that I use, and I will switch between chicken and turkey just to keep things kind of interesting and make sure that I'm kind of hitting all my bases week to week. But this is everything right now. So just for a little bit of context, I'm about like 45% of the way to where I would like to see my calories kind of being. with the food here, which means I will have plenty of room for a solid dinner and also probably some sort of like afternoon, evening snack in addition to my vegetables and hummus, which will probably be some sort of sweet treat because that is what I like to have. So I have plenty of room for that, and I do make sure that I get a lot of protein in for my breakfast and my lunch just because it gives me a little bit more flexibility to kind of have something that has a little bit more fats and carbs in it in the afternoon for dinner. So that's just kind of the way I like to do things. I know some people like to take their total like protein goal and divide that into however many meals they're having and then eat that much protein at each meal. That just doesn't really work for me. I would prefer to kind of have a really heavy protein lunch and breakfast versus kind of splitting it up evenly. I think there are some benefits to doing like kind of more of an even split, but just with my lifestyle, it's not as easy. So that is where we're at. And of course I will be taking you guys along for this week to kind of see how it goes. I'll probably do like a work week in my life, but focus a little bit more on kind of how I'm doing with tracking and all of that. I think one thing that I do really want to show you guys is that like tracking is not really that challenging or time consuming if you just kind of prepare for it beforehand. Obviously, if you're just coming up with your meals on a whim throughout the day, it is a lot harder just because you may end up overeating in one of your macronutrients or undereating in another. So it's just easy if you plan ahead. And honestly, I feel like working like a 9-to-5 job in office makes it a little bit easier because I just pack all of my meals and like that's all I have as an option to eat. So I'm not going to be snacking or anything on things in my kitchen because my kitchen is not here. Yeah, I don't have a kitchen at work with food in it. So I think that makes it a little bit easier. So do know that it is completely possible to track your macros and balance kind of a busier schedule. And also I do want to say that all of these meals are things that I really enjoy eating. I know maybe my lunches don't look like the most delicious thing in the world, but I really like them. I did add seasoning. I added some salt and Cajun seasoning, or no, not Cajun, Cajun seasoning, garlic, and then some applewood seasoning to the chicken, and I very heavily season that just because I like seasoning. So it doesn't have to be bland and boring. It can be delicious. Eating healthy can be delicious. And also, you absolutely do not have to track your macros in order to be a healthy individual. Obviously, you can just try to focus on eating healthy, lean proteins and lots of vegetables. You also don't have to eat chicken to make sure that you're getting a lot of protein in. I was a vegetarian for 7 years and I did track for a while I was a vegetarian, and I promise you I was getting plenty of protein. So whatever your lifestyle looks like, whatever your eating habits look like, it is possible to eat healthy and try to make those conscious decisions while also still eating a cookie, because you know what? Cookies are good too, and they're not the healthiest thing in the world, but it makes us happy. So make sure that you are subscribed to this channel so you can kind of see how my macro tracking journey is going, and also just the rest of my life. I love sharing my journey with you guys, whether that be my fitness journey or my career journey or just my life journey. So make sure you subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.